Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tassif back with a new live stream, and I hope that a lot of our friends will be tuning in. My friends, this is a channel where we talk about social and political issues, both domestic and international. And we're going to be having an important discussion today. Great to see Frank. Frank says, hello, Tassif and everyone. Hello, Frank. And Kay Cooper is here. Kay Cooper says, hi, Tassif. Hello, Kay. Hopefully more of our friends will be joining us very shortly. So, my friends, we have talked about New York City on this channel quite a bit. In recent days, we talked about New York City and the risk of seeing implementation of socialist policies in New York City. We have even said that we might see full-scale communist policies in New York City. That's because of the new mayor, Zoran Mamdani. My friends, we spent a lot of time talking about Zoran Mamdani on this channel, and you've been here, you've listened to the discussion, you've listened to the conversation, you've participated in the discussion, you've shared your thoughts, you've shared your viewpoints, and there's a real risk that we may see implementation of socialist and, in fact, could be full-scale communist-style policies in New York City. Now, there's going to be a lot to discuss going forward about Zoran on this channel. We have to analyze all the things that he says going forward, all the things that he does going forward. Keep in mind that Mamdani is still not the official mayor. He is going to be sworn in very soon, but the swearing in has not happened yet. And so Mamdani, once he officially becomes the mayor of New York City, we are going to be tracking the first 100 days of Mamdani to see what exactly he ends up doing. Does he keep pushing for socialism and communism, or does he change course? So we're gonna keep track of all that when Mamdani officially becomes the mayor. But we also have to keep track of what is going on in other parts of the country. Do you think that these socialists, they are only actively working in New York City? Do you think that all the socialists are concentrated in New York and they're not actively campaigning? They're not actively campaigning in other parts of the country? Do you think that the socialists are only focusing on one city? Well, we talk about New York because there's AOC in New York. There's Mamdani now in New York. So we talk about New York City, but you cannot just disregard what else is happening, what else the socialists are doing in other parts of the country. I mean, socialism is a very, very dangerous political idea. Communism, even more dangerous. And so if you want to defeat socialism, if you want to defeat communism, you're going to have to keep track of what these socialists and what these communists are doing in other parts of the country. My friends, we know that these socialists, they call themselves democratic socialists. There's no difference. They are all socialists. They're focusing on major American cities, far beyond New York City, far beyond New York City. By the way, I want to greet some of our friends here. I see Teresa Ross is here. Teresa, so great to see you. Our friend Teresa Ross is here. Wonderful to see you, Teresa, from Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, from Arizona. We got Teresa Ross, we got Stephen from Southern Illinois, we got Bree from Michigan, and then we have others who are tuning in. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here, my friends. Make sure that you're subscribing and hitting the like button. We got someone from Montreal. You're from Montreal. Wonderful. We got a different Stephen. Stephen, is it Langham? Says hi. All right. Well, I always try to greet our friends. I always try to make sure that we acknowledge our friends here who are tuning in for the live chat. Vilma is here. Vilma, thanks for being here. All right. Okay, and more friends will be joining us. So, socialists are focusing on major American cities, not just in New York, but far beyond New York. And so, we have to keep track of what these socialists are doing, what they're trying to do, how they are trying to push their dangerous agendas in different parts of the country. So you got to look on the other side of the country. We've talked about New York City, East Coast, but what about the other side of the country? You may be wondering what city I'm referring to now. Well, let me ask you, what city do you think I'm talking about now? What city am I going to be discussing today? What American city is now going to be the subject of discussion for today's live stream? Can you make a guess? Can you make a guess? All right. We see someone saying here in Montreal too. Okay. Nashville. Okay. Chicago. Okay. Different guesses. Washington, D.C., Portland, Oregon. Seattle. That's right. We are going to be talking about Seattle, my friends. What's going on in Washington State, in the northwest part of our country. Now, anyone from Seattle watching this live stream, I would like to know. Is there anyone from Seattle watching this live stream? We got different friends here. I don't know if anyone's from Seattle is watching. Corey is writing about Seattle. Anyone from Seattle? Okay. Keegan is asking, are you a lawyer? No, I'm not a lawyer. City is asking, what's happening in Seattle? We're going to talk about that. Anyone from Seattle? If you live in Seattle, I want to hear from you, because that's the city that we are going to be talking about today. Do you have any idea what just happened in Seattle? There's a new mayor-elect in that city. Someone you may have heard about, maybe you did not hear about, I don't know. But this is information that you need to know now. The mayor-elect is Katie Wilson. She's 43 years old, so fairly young, and reportedly, she has never held elected office before. That's right. There's a mayor-elect in Seattle, Katie Wilson, that's her name. She's 43 years old, so she's not that old, and she has never held elected office before. Now, your instant reaction might be, oh, that sounds great. Younger generation, 43 years old, she's fairly young. Oh, well, never held elected office before, so that's good. She's probably an outsider, right? Is that going to be your reaction? If I just tell you, tell you her name, her age, and the fact that she has never held elected office before, you're going to say, oh, that's great. Younger generation might be a good thing. Someone from the outside, never held elected office before, might be a good thing. Okay? That might be your instant reaction. And then, if I tell you more, you're going to say, oh, the mayor right now is Bruce Harrell, who is a complete Democrat, so not a good mayor at all, endorsed Kamala Harris in 2024. So Bruce Harrell, that's the current mayor, he just lost to Katie Wilson. Katie Wilson's young, never held elected office before. She defeated Bruce Harrell. So you might be tempted to say, oh, that's great. Maybe better days are waiting for Seattle. Maybe things are going to get better now. Maybe the homelessness issues will be solved. Maybe the public safety problems will be solved. Maybe all these problems affecting the city of Seattle will be now solved because, oh, there's a new mayor, a young mayor, somebody who's never held elected office before. But my friends, you cannot draw any conclusion so easily. You cannot judge so easily. You got to find out more information before arriving at a conclusion about Katie Wilson. Who is Katie Wilson? Can you tell me? Can you tell me her policy priorities? Can you tell me what she believes in, what her political ideology is? Who is Katie Wilson? What really is Seattle looking forward to? My friends, let me tell you. Katie Wilson, and you're gonna get shocked. So get ready for this. If you are somebody who's quick to jump into conclusion, if you are somebody who's thinking, oh, we're finally going to get a younger mayor, somebody who has never held elected office before, that all sounds great. She defeated a Democrat. Must be a good thing. Hold on. I'll tell you the truth about Katie Wilson. Katie Wilson is a democratic socialist. What does that mean? That means she's a socialist. Now, does that shock you? Are you shocked now? New York City elected a socialist, not really a socialist, a full-scale communist. That's Zoran Mamdani, a communist. And now Seattle, on the other side of the country, in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle also elected a socialist as the next mayor. Now, do you find this alarming? Katie Wilson, a socialist, who is now the mayor-elect of Seattle. She defeated a Democrat. A democratic socialist defeated a Democrat. So things are about to get a whole lot worse. If you thought that Seattle was a city in trouble, well, it's going to get into more trouble now, because there's something about socialists. Wherever they go, they ruin everything. Okay? You got a nice city, you send in a socialist, that city will be ruined. You got a city in trouble, you send in a socialist, instead of solving the problems, the city will be in deeper trouble. The city will be devastated. That's what socialists do to a city or a village or a town. That's what socialists do to an economy. They destroy everything. They destroy the social structure, they destroy the economy, they destroy the markets, they destroy the business climate, they destroy the environment, the economic environment. Jobs are lost, businesses shut down, people leave. That's what happens when a socialist is in charge of a jurisdiction. Okay? And this is the truth. And I know my friends here know this already, but there are many others who are tuning in now, maybe folks who are not paying attention to what's happening in Seattle. That's why I'm doing this live stream, because you need to know what to expect. If you are somebody who's got capital, you've got money to invest, and you're thinking, oh, let me move to Seattle, and I'm going to open a business over there. Maybe a small business, maybe a shop, maybe a cafe, maybe a store, a clothing store, whatever. If you've got capital and you want to invest in Seattle, you need to know that the city just elected a socialist as the next mayor. And that is all you need to know. That is all you need to know to change your mind. You've got your capital. There are some wonderful cities, many wonderful cities across the country where you can go and invest your money. Do not go to Seattle. Do not go to Seattle. And in fact, a lot of folks in Seattle now, just like the folks in New York City, they're packing their bags. They're looking for an exit. They want to get out of the city. Yes, Seattle's beautiful, Washington State, beautiful place, Pacific Northwest, amazing. But you know what? If the public safety situation is bad, if the economy is bad, if you cannot properly run a business in a city, what's the point of living there? What's the point of growing roots in a city that is becoming worse and worse and worse as time goes by? You get a bad mayor, and people get sick and tired, and then in the following election, you expect something good to happen. You expect the mayor with the poor performance to be defeated. You want somebody better to come and be in charge. But in the case of New York City, in the case of Seattle, things just keep going in the other direction. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Same for Chicago. Same for Chicago. Same story. There was Lori Lightfoot, and many people thought that Lori Lightfoot is probably the worst mayor in history. There cannot be a mayor worse than Lori Lightfoot. And then look what happened. Lightfoot did not get reelected, although she launched her campaign with a lot of music, drums. I don't know if you saw that. In Chicago, this happened. You can look up the old videos. Lori Lightfoot, and I've talked about this before. It's been a while since I mentioned this. Lori Lightfoot, when she announced her reelection, she was having some kind of a campaign event on a certain street in Chicago, on a certain location, and there were drummers. They were playing drums, different kinds of drums. I mean, it was a nice environment there. I mean, people were having fun, clearly. But it was Lori Lightfoot's re-election event. And she was dancing and she was saying, vote, 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 vote. You don't believe me, you can go and search for that video. Anyone saw that video of Lori Lightfoot dancing to the beats of drums? Vote, vote, vote. Anyway, my main point, people suffered so much under Lori Lightfoot that most people thought, oh, finally, Lori Lightfoot is going to be defeated and hopefully we'll have a new mayor, someone nice, someone who's going to fix the problems. But instead, Chicago ended up with a mayor who is far worse than Lori Lightfoot. If you compare Brandon Johnson and Lori Lightfoot, you're going to think Lori Lightfoot is awesome. Lori Lightfoot is amazing when you compare her to Brandon Johnson. Okay? I mean, people who did not like Lightfoot and they wanted Lightfoot to just be defeated so a good mayor can come in, they were shocked. They're so shocked that they're actually like speechless now. They have nothing to say. They got rid of a bad mayor and they got what you can say, Brandon Johnson, now the worst mayor in the history of Chicago. A lot of people say that. I don't live in Chicago. I'm not drawing that conclusion, but a lot of people say this is an absolute nightmare situation for Chicago to have a mayor like Brandon Johnson, who's completely clueless, doesn't know how to govern, doesn't know how to run a city. Okay? Anyway. And also, it's not just about not knowing what to do, it's about priorities. The priorities are wrong. I mean, Brandon Johnson, what is his priority? Not to take care of the Americans living in Chicago. He wants to take care of the illegal aliens living in Chicago. That's the priority for Brandon Johnson. So anyway, I don't want to talk about Chicago today. My main point is cities, they get bad mayors, and then people expect that the following election, the bad mayor is going to be voted out. Maybe there's going to be a good mayor coming in. Not in the case of New York. Eric Adams, a very poor performance mayor. Zoran Mamdani is probably going to be a lot worse. Chicago ended up with a worse mayor than before. And now, Bruce Harrell, I didn't like the guy. Bruce Harrell. Look at his record. This guy endorsed Kamala. Anyone who endorses Kamala Harris, okay? You know who I'm talking about, right? Kamala Harris. Who's Kamala Harris? She's the one, for anyone who may be asking the question, who's Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is the presidential candidate, was the presidential candidate who was defeated in that awesome election of November 2024. She's the one who ran against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump won in a landslide. So Kamala Harris, she had a miserable defeat in the 2024 presidential election. So that's Kamala Harris, okay, who lost. So in an election, there's a winner and a loser. She's the loser. Okay, she lost, and it was not a loss by a slim margin. It was a landslide victory for Trump. It was a major defeat for Kamala Harris. Okay, we actually knew that this was going to happen. Okay, I mean, who thought that Kamala Harris is even fit to run for president? Okay, given her record. Anyway, something to keep in mind, something we've talked about before, she never qualified to become the Democrat presidential nominee. She didn't have to go through a primary. The voters, the Democrat Party voters, did not select her as the nominee. She was basically the elites. The Democrat Party elites, the party machine chose her. They said, oh, no. There's not going to be a primary. There's not going to be a selection process. We've chosen her. She's the one who's going to be on the ticket. And then she lost. Anyway, so Bruce Harrell, the mayor of Seattle, this guy, all right, himself, he's a poor performance mayor, Bruce Harrell. He endorsed Kamala Harris for the 2024 November election. Okay? So that's all you need to know about this guy, Bruce Harrell, the Seattle mayor. And so he got defeated. But you know what? Now, things are going to get a lot worse. That's right. Because now you have a democratic socialist as the mayor-elect who is going to be sworn in as the mayor very soon. Okay? And some people are comparing Katie Wilson to Zoran Mamdani. It's like the Mamdani of the West. I think somebody even mentioned that. Like Mamdani of the West. You got Mamdani on the East, and then you got Mamdani on the West. Mamdani style Katie Wilson on the West. So you got the East Coast, West Coast, both in trouble. Katie Wilson, a socialist. Do you find this alarming? Isn't that alarming? How socialists are winning elections in these deep, deep blue jurisdictions. I mean, these candidates, these socialists, they can never win. They can never win in a purple jurisdiction. I mean, obviously they cannot win in a red jurisdiction, but even in a purple jurisdiction where you have a lot of independent voters, you have a lot of swing voters, jurisdictions that sometimes go to the right, sometimes go to the left. You know, most elections are real close, and the margin of victory is usually very small. The purple jurisdiction, these like folks like Zoran Mamdani and Katie Wilson, they can never win in purple jurisdictions, okay? Because independent voters, they will never vote for socialists because socialism has no place in America. But we're seeing this alarming trend in these jurisdictions that are blue, deep blue. Seattle is deep blue. New York City is deep blue. My friends, reportedly this margin of victory in this Seattle mayoral election, it was razor thin. So it was not an overwhelming, even in a blue, heavily blue jurisdiction like Seattle, it was not a landslide victory for Katie Wilson. It was a narrow, thin, razor thin, okay? Razor thin margin of victory. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Katie Wilson. And the more I say, the more you're going to realize how deeply in trouble the city is. By the way, I'm going to ask you again, anyone from Seattle watching this? Anyone from Seattle watching this? Tell me. I'm asking you, anyone from Seattle watching this? I want to know. Tommy Brown's here. Tommy Brown is from Colorado. Tommy Brown, great to see you. Anyone from Seattle? Okay, we got one person saying yes. Okay, who else? Oh, there's another person saying yes. All right. Anyone else from Seattle? Okay. All right. My friends, I understand your frustration. All those who are tuning in from Seattle, okay? Now, you're likely to be a Democrat, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know what your views are, the folks who are tuning in from Seattle. But I understand that you are very, very concerned, and you have every reason to be. If you live in a city that just elected a socialist as the next mayor, you have every reason to be concerned. You're probably listening to this live stream, but at the same time, here's what I think is going on. My friends, you got to listen to me. I know that the Seattle people, the Seattle residents who are listening to my live stream right now, you are multitasking. That's right. I know what you're doing. You're multitasking. On one hand, you have this live stream on, so you're listening to me. On the other hand, you're probably on your computer looking at moving companies. You're looking for houses in other cities, in other states. I know that you're probably looking at the real estate market in Texas. You are probably, maybe not Texas, maybe you're looking at the real estate market in Florida because you're looking for houses, you're looking for apartments, you're looking for condos, you're looking to move. So you're probably staying up late and you're browsing the internet looking for properties in states like Florida and Texas. And at the same time, you're looking at moving companies. You're trying to decide if you're going to be driving a truck yourself with all your stuff, or whether you're going to hire movers to help you relocate. If that's what you're doing, it's the right move. There's no reason to continue residing in Seattle, not after finding out about the election results. Okay? So you want to multitask, you want to listen to me, and at the same time look for properties, you can do that. I would recommend you do that because the longer you reside in Seattle, the worse the economic situation is going to get. I mean, Seattle is not going to be a place where any rational individual can think of like investing. The public safety situation is likely going to get worse. That's what happens when socialists are in charge. Okay? Do you agree with what I just said? My friends, do you agree with what I said? Do you agree with my viewpoints? Do you agree with my viewpoints? Let me know. People saying yes. Thank you. Thanks so much. People are saying yes. I can see that. K Cooper is saying T. Tosif tells the truth. Anthony saying yes. Lauren saying I agree, sir. My friends, let's talk about Katie Wilson here. Let's talk about Katie Wilson, okay? One of her priorities, and I don't know how you're going to react when I say this, okay? Once I tell you this priority that is actually listed on the website for her, that she listed as one of her priorities, once I tell you this, you're going to say, Tosif, just shut up. We don't want to listen anymore. We understand what's going on. Seattle is in trouble, and we don't want to hear any more bad news. I'm going to close this live stream. I don't want to hear you any further talking about this because it's going to give me nightmares. My friends, don't. I understand your frustration. I understand your frustration, but you know what? You cannot run from the truth. If you are living in Seattle and you're stuck in such a bad situation that you got an incoming mayor who is a socialist, I understand your frustration. But I feel that I need to let you know the truth. You cannot run from bad news. You cannot hide from bad news. You can make the right decisions, which would be to leave Seattle and go someplace else. Go to Florida. We got friends here from Florida. We got Frank, who tunes in from Florida. Michelle, I don't know. I haven't seen Michelle in a while. Michelle is from Florida. We got Kay Cooper from Texas. We got other friends from Texas. Laura Floyd. Laura, are you here? I don't know. Laura is from Texas too. You can move. But while you are in Seattle still, you cannot run from the truth. You cannot hide from bad news. So let me share with you the bad news. Katie Wilson lists climate action and environmental justice as one of her priorities. Climate action and environmental justice. This is what woke politicians will always claim to be one of their top priorities. Climate action, environmental justice. What does that even mean? Climate action, environmental justice. That basically means stop operating motorized vehicles, get rid of your, gas appliances, shut down all the factories, close everything. I mean, that's what it means, really. Climate action. Oh, carbon is hurting us. We need to reduce our carbon footprint. Oh my God, what's going to happen? This is a mayor-elect. Somebody who ran for mayor, got elected. You got to run a city. You have to make sure that there are resources for public safety, that the roads and bridges are fine, that there's law and order, that there's the city is clean and tidy. I mean, it's a mayoral position. She's talking about climate action and environmental justice. What does that even mean? Well, it means she doesn't like oil, she doesn't like gas. Reasonable Americans like oil and gas. We love fossil fuels. How many times have I said that on this channel? We love fossil fuels. We believe in drill, baby, drill. That's our energy policy in a nutshell. Drill, baby, drill. We want energy independence. We want energy dominance, not just energy independence. We want energy dominance. We want to be the most powerful country in the world in terms of energy, and we can be. We want energy dominance using our fossil fuels. And here's Katie Wilson. One of her priorities is climate action and environmental justice. She doesn't like oil, she doesn't like gas, and you know what? She wants to create green jobs. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. This is a mayor-elect who wants green jobs. Tell me, what is a green job? Let me learn from you. Anyone here who understands what a green job is? Why don't you tell me? What is it? What is a green job? It's funny how the Democrats, it's funny how the socialists in particular, they always put a color on jobs. I mean, jobs are jobs. Jobs are jobs. There are jobs out there, you could have a job which is an office-based job. You could have a job where you're working in a factory. You could have a job where you're working outdoors. You could have a job in different sectors: energy, transportation, manufacturing, retail. You could have a private sector job. You could have a government job. You could have a nonprofit job. Jobs are jobs. What does it mean to have green jobs? Oh, we need green jobs. What is a green job? My friends, people need jobs that will help them pay their bills. People need jobs that will help them earn a paycheck so that they can pay their mortgage. People need jobs so that they can earn enough money to meet their day-to-day needs and also to save money at the end of the day, save money for their retirement. People need jobs that will help them raise a family. People need jobs that will help them afford transportation. People need jobs that will help them put nutritious food on the table. People need jobs so that they can have their basic necessities in life: food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, and then save money. People need jobs that can help them pay for their kids' education. Jobs are jobs. What is a green job? Oh, we need green jobs. What does that even mean? I mean, this is what the Democrats do. This is what the socialists do. They come up with all kinds of terms like we need climate action. What is climate action? We don't get to control climate. You know, human beings cannot play gods. All right, there are certain things that we just leave it to nature. Nature, you cannot, as a human being, you cannot be more powerful than nature. If you think, oh, I'm going to, like, just like you control your thermostat, just like you regulate the temperature in your home, you turn on the AC or you turn on the heat, and you got the thermostat with either knobs or buttons or whatever, depending on what model thermostat it is. The new ones have buttons, older ones probably have knobs. Anyway, you got thermostat in your home, and you can control the temperature inside your house or your apartment. But you cannot do that with nature. You cannot just say, oh, I'm gonna turn a knob and it's gonna rain. I'm gonna turn a knob, it's gonna get hot, it's gonna get cold. You cannot do that. You cannot control the climate. People try, like these woke politicians, these socialists, these climate activists, they're trying to regulate climate, but they will fail miserably because human beings are not more powerful than nature. Nature is the most powerful. Human beings cannot control nature, cannot take over nature. You can't do that. But sadly, we see these Democrat politicians, they try. They say, oh, our priorities are climate action and environmental justice. Green jobs. What is a green? Don't add color to a job. Don't say, oh, you got a red job, you got a blue job, you got a green job, you got a purple job, you got yellow job, you got, different colors. Endless. There's no green job, okay? Well, and what is a green job? These socialists make it sound like, unless you're working in a green job, you're doing something wrong. They'll probably come and ask you, hey, what do you do for a living? And you say, oh, I work in a car manufacturing factory. We produce gas-powered vehicles. Oh, that's not a green job. We want you to have a green job. Well, what is a green job? I mean, it's almost like trying to inflict guilt. Like, oh, do you work in a green job? If not, you're doing something wrong. And what is a green job? Okay, let me ask you this question. And you can answer. You can answer this, okay? Let's say you have a job where you are transporting solar panels from the factory to the rural countryside. Okay? That's your job, transportation. Solar panels are produced somewhere, right? And then you transport those solar panels and take them to a beautiful American countryside. Is that a green job? Because you know what we're seeing, and maybe you've seen this in your community, in your state, in your wherever you live in that region. I see that in Wisconsin where we have beautiful countryside, but then we have these solar projects. They put up solar panels on American farmland. It is unbelievable. It is, I believe it's destructive. That's my opinion as an American. And as somebody who's seeing this in my state, you got beautiful land, countryside farmland, and then you have like solar panels. Lots and lots of them in the rural countryside. Okay, now that reduces space for farming. We need land. Land is precious. We need to be doing more farming. We don't want solar panels taking over farmlands. But let's say you got a job where you are transporting solar panels from maybe a warehouse or a factory or whatever, and taking it to the rural countryside where The panels are then installed on a farmland. Now that transportation job, would you consider that a green job? Oh, you got a green job. You're transporting solar panels. And then maybe there's a different crew that puts the solar panels together and installs the panels on beautiful farmland, destroying our farmland. Is that a green job? Would you call that a green job? Why don't you let me know? Is that a green job? Transporting solar panels and installing solar panels on beautiful American countryside and destroying American farmland. Is that a green job? Is that the kind of job that these woke politicians would like to see people employed in? Why don't you by the way, I've been talking for a while. I want to ask you, do you agree? Do you agree with the things I said today? Do you agree? Just say yes or no. Do you agree with my viewpoints? Whatever I'm saying, does it make sense to you? And I'm going to try to read some of the comments here. Let's see. Steven's saying yes. Adam's saying yes. Sean is saying yes. Let's see. Tommy Brown saying yes. And Lawrence is saying yes. And there are others. Let me scroll. K. Cooper is saying TTTT, which means Tosif tells the truth. Thank you so much. Salerno is saying yes, absolutely. Bree is saying yes. Keith is saying yes. Di is saying yes. Saying no. All right. Oh, we got a few no's here. Few people. Liz is saying yes. Rove is saying yes. And then we got folks saying no as well. That's all right. Because, there are going to be people saying no. They're going to say, Toss, if we don't agree with you. Because obviously, Mamdani got elected by voters. So did Katie Wilson. So yes, there are folks out there. There are people out there who disagree with me. These are folks who believe in maybe, Democrat policies, socialist policies, woke policies. So if there are folks saying no, I get it. But you know what? Someday you're going to realize the truth. Someday you're going to understand what is good and what is bad. And at that point, you're going to think about me. You're going to think, oh, we heard that guy on YouTube do a live stream. We didn't believe him back then, but now we realize he was right. Whatever he said, he was right. Oh, let's try to remember his name. What was his name? Oh, that was it was Tosif, right? That was the name. Yeah, we remember. It was Tosif. We were watching his live stream. We opposed his viewpoints. We didn't agree with him. When he asked a question, do you agree with me? We were the first to write no, no, no. And we repeated that comment over and over again in his live chat. We flooded his live chat, repeating the same comment, writing no, we don't agree, no, no. But now we realize we were wrong. Tosif was right. Socialism is destroying our city. Woke policies like climate action and environmental justice, such policies have caused tremendous damage to our economy. So Tosif was right, we were wrong, now we realize. That's exactly how you're going to feel. Maybe months from now, maybe years from now. But you will realize that whatever I'm saying is true. And I'm not the only one. There are other people here. In the live chat, you can see our friends, our freedom-loving friends from different states, from different cities. They realize what is true. They understand what is false. They know what is right. They know what is wrong. They understand the difference between good and bad. And they know that socialism is destructive. They know that communism is very, very destructive. Thank you, my friends. Thank you all for being here. I have more to talk about. I'm not ending this here. Thank you, my friends. Thank you so very much for all your support. And to the ones who agree with me, you know what? I am praying for you. I'm genuinely praying for you. I'm praying so that you can see the truth, so that you can understand what is right, what is wrong, so that you can know what is good for your city, for your state, for your country. And let me tell you, it's not socialism. Socialism is bad. Socialism will destroy. Socialism will create chaos and unrest. And communism will cause devastation. Thank you, my friends. Thanks for all your support. You're all wonderful, those who are watching this live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. 54 likes on this video already. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. All right. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Okay, that's how you can support this channel. Subscribe, and that's how you can tune in for future live streams. And I'm not done yet, but I would love to see more people subscribe and be a part of this community. In fact, I believe what I should do now, hold on a second, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this in subscriber only mode. Give me a second. I'm going to put this in subscriber only mode. Okay. All right. And so make sure you subscribe and participate in meaningful conversation. Trinity is saying awesome channel. Thank you, Trinity. Steven saying sub. Thank you so much for subscribing. K Cooper is saying yes. Okay. Is it Jack? Is it Jack? Can I call you Jack? You've been here before, Jack, right? I can't pronounce. You're saying, you rock, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Give me a second here. Tommy Brown has been here a long time. Absolutely. Tommy Brown is a great friend of our community. Jack is saying, yes, Jack works. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. All right. So I have more to talk. Give me a second here. I got to take care of the cable. All right, Jack's here. Liz is saying you rock. Thank you so much, Liz. Thanks so much. Yeah, so you can participate in the live chat as you've been doing. Just make sure that you're subscribing. And I appreciate you all. So my friends, once again, talking about green jobs, Lawrence is saying you're great, Tosser. Thank you, Lawrence. Thanks so much. Talking about a green job. So would you say that let's say there's a wind turbine. By the way, wind turbines are absolutely ugly. Absolutely ugly. If you come to Southwest Wisconsin, you're going to see wind turbines in beautiful countryside. I don't know why people put those turbines there. They are so ugly. You know, if you ask me, Tosif, what are some of the most ugly things in the world? I would say wind turbines would be one of them. Very ugly, especially in the beautiful countryside. So let's say an ugly wind turbine has stopped functioning, because those things do stop functioning. You think a wind turbine is perfect, you put it up there and it's going to turn and turn and turn, it's going to work forever. It's not. It's going to stop. It's going to malfunction. And let's say There's a wind turbine that has stopped functioning, and then you need to send the repair crew out there to fix that ugly wind turbine. Would you call that a green job? Would you call that a green job? You put up this very, very ugly wind turbine in a beautiful countryside, and the wind turbine stops working for whatever reason. Okay. And you send out a repair crew. You say, hey, you guys, get up. Go and fix that wind turbine right now. We want it up and running again. So that crew goes out there to try to fix it. Would you call that job of repairing a wind turbine, would you call that a green job? Okay. Would you call that a green job? First of all, we don't need wind turbines. So why do we need repair crew to fix that wind turbine? We don't need that wind turbine to begin with. Is that a green job? So is that the kind of job that these woke politicians want when they say, oh, we want green jobs? You want folks transporting solar panels. You want folks going out there and fixing malfunctioning wind turbines. Green jobs. Are those green jobs? Laura Floyd is here. Laura, so great to see you. Laura, believe it or not, I just mentioned your name a short while ago. When we were talking about people moving out of Seattle and moving to Florida, moving to Texas, I mentioned Frank, I mentioned Michelle from Florida, I mentioned Kay Cooper from Texas, and I mentioned your name also, Laura. We got Laura Floyd from Texas. Good evening, Laura. So, Laura, get ready, and Kay Cooper also, get ready. You are about to see a massive influx of people from Seattle, from New York City, moving to Texas, moving to Florida, moving to Tennessee, moving to South Carolina, moving to other red states. All right? Get ready. All the realtors in Texas and Florida, you're going to get busy. Okay? People will be calling you constantly. Okay, you're going to get calls from Seattle residents. All you realtors in Florida and Texas, you are going to get phone calls, you're going to get voice messages, you're going to get sick and tired. Like, you're going to wonder, why are all these phone calls coming? Oh, that's because folks are moving out of New York City, and folks are moving out of Seattle and moving to Texas. So get ready, okay? Home prices are probably going to rise in Texas, in Florida. It's going to happen. It has to. By the way, I want to find out where our friends are from. The new friends we have participating in the live chat, where are you all from? Write the name of the state. Write the name of maybe the city if you want. But the state, definitely. Tommy Brown is from Colorado. We know that. We got another viewer. Can I call you Ree? Because I can't pronounce the whole screen name. I just don't know how to. I'll call you Ree, okay? Ree is saying Miami. Okay, great. Florida. Lindsay is from Washington. Lindsay. Chazzy Star, good to see you. We got our friend Chazzy Star. It's been a while. Says, looking good, Tassif, and I'm in Omaha. Okay, Omaha. Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, so great to see you, Chazzy. We got Keith from Cleveland, Bree from Michigan. We got Jack from California. We got Trinity from Tennessee. Lawrence from West Virginia. We love West Virginia. We love West Virginia. That's a red state, West Virginia. We got Oh, we got someone from Butler, Pennsylvania. Well, whenever I think of Butler, Pennsylvania, I think of fight, fight, fight. President Trump saying fight, fight, fight. Remember that? That moment showed what a great leader he is. He's not afraid. He's the most brave, the most courageous person saying fight, fight, fight. Remember? Thank you so very much. Lindsay is saying Wisconsin is warm. I heard tossing. Wisconsin, the temperature was in the 60s today. And this is November. This is unusually warm. Okay, but I'm not going to complain. Lindsay, you are right. Wisconsin is warm. Unusually warm right now. But I'm not going to complain. Okay? All right? Now, the woke folks, all right, the climate action and the environmental justice folks, they may be complaining. They may be saying, oh, we got global warming. Okay, folks who have been following Al Gore for too long, all right, they may be complaining. They may say, this is November. We want some snow. Hey, listen, I'll take the warm weather. I'll take the warm weather. I'm happy with the warm weather. In November, we got warm weather. In December, if we have warm weather, I'm not going to complain. I'm fine. I will take whatever nature gives me. All right? Yeah. Listen, I don't spend my time watching Al Gore's videos. If you think I watch Al Gore's speeches, okay, if you think I listen to whatever her name is, what's her name? Greta something, the climate action person. Greta, what's the last name? I even forgot the last name. Greta. Yeah, some Greta. Okay. Oh, climate justice, How dare you? You know who I'm talking about. Listen, I don't watch their speeches. All right? I don't watch their speeches. I don't listen to their woke stuff. So, November, we got 60-degree weather. I'm happy. It makes me happy. That's fine. Yeah, no, I'm not listening to Al Gore. I'm not listening to John Kerry. Yeah, I'm not listening to whatever, Greta something. Yeah, no, we don't follow them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Lindsay, you got it. Greta, yeah. So, yeah, no. We will take whatever nature gives us. And the climate will always change. It has always changed. And it will always change. All right. Yeah, global warming. They're gonna scream, global warming. This is not natural. So the socialists, they're always promoting green jobs. And you know what? Honestly, we still don't know what a green job is. I don't think anyone knows. They just use that term, green jobs. We don't know what it is. So anyway, I think Seattle seems to be in a lot of trouble. You got a socialist mayor-elect who's officially going to be sworn in at some point in the near future. And Seattle is, I believe, in a lot of trouble. Trinity says, I have no clue what a green job is either. Yeah, no one knows. No one knows, Trinity. No one knows what a green job is. No one knows. So, okay. The other thing is, my friends, I'm going to share that with you. Give me a second here. So, Katie Wilson also said that she is going to Trump-proof the city of Seattle. Trump proved the city of Seattle. So Katie Wilson, the new mayor of Seattle, the new, mayor-elect, is an anti-Trump mayor. Is an anti-Trump mayor. She said she is going to Trump-proof the city of Seattle. So Seattle voted out a Democrat Kamala supporter, Bruce Harrell, only to elect a completely anti-Trump mayor, Katie Wilson. Think about this. Here's a mayor-elect, a person who is going to be an elected official, and her jurisdiction would be local government, and one of her priorities is to Trump-proof Seattle. Unbelievable. Katie should just maybe focus on fixing roads and bridges and making sure that the city runs smoothly. She should focus on the local needs. She should focus on making Seattle affordable again, rather than keeping the mind focused on anti-Trump talking points. I don't think you can expect anything productive from this mayor, from this new mayor. And I'll tell you about one of the endorsements that Katie Wilson received. And once I tell you what Katie Wilson, what endorsement she got, that's all you need to know to draw a conclusion about Katie Wilson. Katie Wilson received the endorsement of Pramila Jayapal. Pramila Jayapal. Do you know who Pramila Jayapal is? Anyone knows Pramila Jayapal, who she is? It's somebody who endorsed Katie Wilson. Do you know who she is? Go ahead, tell me. Go ahead, tell me. Who is Pramila Jayapal? Pramila Jayapal is the congresswoman from the 7th Congressional District of Washington. This congresswoman is so far left, unbelievable. And she's so far left that if Pramila Jayapal says, I endorse that candidate, that is a message that you should never vote for that candidate. Whoever Pramila Jayapal endorses, never vote for that person. You just don't. I mean, it's basically a list of who not to vote for. Okay? Look at the folks who Pramila Jayapal endorsed and just never vote for those people. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with what I said? Lawrence is saying you're spot on, Tausif. Thank you, Lawrence. Yeah. Bree says, yeah, it's Bree is laughing. Salerno says yes. Lawrence says I agree. Trinity says yes. Yeah, if you ever want to know who to never vote for, well, look at the list of folks that Pramila Jayapal endorsed. So Seattle has made a decision. Seattle voted out a Democrat and voted in a Democratic socialist. A climate action and environmental justice person, a green jobs person, an anti-Trump talking point person. And so the city is in a lot of trouble. In a lot of trouble. Bree says, I don't want socialism. No one wants socialism, Bree. We do not want socialism. By the way, if you're watching this, my friends, will you make sure that you're subscribing? Will you please subscribe and support this channel? People ask me, Tausif, how can we support your channel? Well, subscribe. Trinity, I just want people to subscribe. I have this channel just to spread my message. That's really the goal. That's really the goal of this channel. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this, you know. I just want people to listen to my message, and we want to build a community here, a freedom-loving community. And that's why I do this. So we have crossed the 16,000 subscriber mark. So that's good. We're gonna get very close to 20,000 soon. So yeah, all you need to do, if you want to support this channel, all you need to do is subscribe. As I love what Stephen wrote. Stephen wrote that when he was a kid, a green job was cutting the grass. Yeah, mowing the lawn. That's a real green job. I love it. All right. So yeah, my friends, the reason I have this is because I want to spread my message. So all I ask for is just subscribe. Doesn't cost any money. Just you hit the subscribe button. Alex is watching. Alex, where are you watching from? Alex says, I'm from across the country. Where are you from, Alex? Alabama. Okay, Alabama. We love Alabama. Alabama. Who loves Alabama? I love Alabama. I've never been there, but I want to. I've never visited Alabama, but I hope to maybe soon. It's a red state. We love Alabama. Bree writes, yes, Alabama is great. Kay Cooper has been to Alabama. Lawrence is also saying yes. My friends, do you know that if we get 16 more subscriptions, we're going to get to 16,100. 16 more. Just a small milestone we can reach. Okay, I see a comment. Hello there, good afternoon. God bless you, Tassif. Well, you're saying good afternoon, so I'm going to have to ask you where you are from, because the folks here in America, it's nighttime. So you must be from a little further away from outside the US, right? Okay, 14 more subscriptions to get to 16,100. I know people are watching, so all right. I'm seeing some new names here, which is always great. We want to welcome new folks into this community. Trinity, we have the same time as Tennessee. It's 12:21 a.m. in Wisconsin right now. Now, don't look at the clock behind me because I have not changed the time. So people sometimes look at my clock and they get confused. Well, that's because I have the phone in selfie mode. So whatever you're looking at is basically a mirror image, okay? And so The clock, um, if you look at it, it's not going to show you the exact time. And also, since we switched back to standard time, I have not changed the time over there. Okay, so that's why if you look at it, you're going to get confused. Bree is saying 1:30 a.m. here, so Bree is in Michigan. Mm. All right. Can we get 14 more subscriptions? Keith is asking, why do these young people want socialism? Well, some of the young folks, people who are, young adults, maybe 20 years old, 21 years old, um, if they have been to schools where they had woke teachers who praised socialism, and we have seen so many problems. We continue to see so many problems with public education in some of these schools where the teachers are completely woke. There are so many great teachers out there, but then you got some woke school teachers, depending on the school, depending on the class, some really like activist like woke socialist teachers, if they are, teaching socialism to the kids, if they are trying to indoctrinate, that's where we have problem. And also, um, a lot of young adults today, like folks who are, 19 years old, 20, 21, 22, 23, um, they probably have not read history uh, to the extent that they should, or maybe have not paid attention to history books at all. Because if anyone reads history, they understand that socialism never works, communism never works. But these woke politicians, what they do is they try to sell a repackaged form of socialism, okay? Because they know that if they try to sell socialism, it's not going to work, because those who learn, those who know the facts, they know socialism doesn't work. So all these woke politicians, what they do is they say, "Oh, this is not socialism. This is democratic socialism. Or this is different. You're going to love this. This is going to work." It never works. It's the same thing. It's socialism. And what does socialism lead to? Socialism leads to communism, which is when there's a complete government takeover of industries, government takeover of everything. Private property rights are abolished. You think of buying a house, think of buying a land, there's not going to be private property if there's communism. So that's what these woke politicians want to push people towards. All right, can we get 14 more subscribers, my friends? 14 more subscribers, maybe a few more likes. Oh, look at that screen name. You can see that screen name. That is so interesting. Yeah, socialism doesn't work, communism doesn't work, nothing, none of these work. We got Maine here saying socialism leads to communism. Talk to someone who escaped a socialist slash communist regime. It leads to poverty and suffering. Yeah, that is very true. Please read the history books. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good point. That is the truth. Socialism leads to communism and it leads to poverty and suffering. What works is freedom. Freedom works, as Tommy Brown just wrote. All right. Okay, my friends. I'm going to wrap up this live stream now. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so very much, my friends. The weekend is starting, so I'm going to be hopefully doing more live streams. I hope you all stay connected to me. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. And yeah, we will continue to discuss very important social and political issues, both domestic and international. So stay connected, my friends. I appreciate you all joining me for this live stream, and hopefully you'll come back for more discussion. Okay, so just wanted to give you an update on Seattle. They have elected a socialist mayor. Let's see what happens going forward, my friends. We are always going to be fighting for freedom. We need to fight for freedom. We need to protect our freedom, and we need to protect our Constitution. So thank you, my friends. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless our Republican leaders in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies, and may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you, my friends. Remember, together we will make America great again. It's great to see you all, and I'm going to be back again very soon with more videos and more live stream. Thank you. Have a good night.